Hello, fellow human! Welcome back to another Dank Doggo r// Am I the A-hole? We have 7 stories in total for you guys today. The first story is posted by /throw RAFHFS Vayari with the title of Am I the A-hole for pretending to get fired when customers get a temper with me? I'm a high schooler with a weekend job at a coffee shop. My coworkers who work weekends are James, the owner's son. He goes to my school. He's a shift manager, but it's not a real formal thing. He's a friendly guy. Daniel, a college student who sometimes works weekends too. So sometimes customer will come in and just be angry about such little stuff. Like literally blow up about nothing. I don't know if they're in bad mood already and looking for someone to take it out on or what, but it's a lot. Like how sad you have to be a grown butt man taking out your anger out on high school and college kids. So James and I were joking about having a little fun with them and hopefully getting them off our backs. So one day I was at work and some guy was having a temper about how we don't make the coffee hot enough. Which I couldn't do a thing because I gave to him right out of the machine. So James came in and was like, "Sir, is there a problem here?" And the guy started ranting at him too. So he was just like, "OP, this is unacceptable. You are fired." I start acting real sad, like, "No, please don't fire me. My family needs money. I need this job, please." And he played up like a hard butt, telling me to take off my apron and leave. The angry guy started to backtrack like, "Oh, it isn't that big of a problem. You don't need to fire her over it. I didn't mean it." And Jim was like, "No, we pride ourselves on the best customer service." Of course, after all that drama, I still had my job. We were just acting. And we have done it a couple of times. Whenever a customer will lose their temper at Daniel or I, James will storm in and fire us. Almost every time the person who had come in angry will apologize and they say they didn't mean it. It's kind of satisfying making people realize their actions might actually have consequences. Anyway, I was telling my friends from school about this and few of them thought it was a mean prank to let someone go away thinking they'd gotten someone who desperately needs the money be fired. Am I the a-hole for this joke? Just my 2 cents on this. Not only this is very smart, they didn't insult anybody, nobody got hurt, but also they managed to solve the problem in peace, so of course they are not buttholes. On to the second story written by /dadjokeAITA. Am I the a-hole for making a dad joke? Note, my stepdaughter Madeleine was about a year old when I married her mother, Jessica. Madeleine's father died before she was born. Madeleine is currently 15 and she is rebelling for almost everything. She did something bad, so while picking her up, I set a punishment up for her. Then she said, "You're not my dad, I don't have to follow you." Honestly, I got a bit hurt from that, but I understand that she didn't mean it and that she would probably change. I just replied, "I'm still your legal guardian for the next 3 years, and as long as you're in my house, you have to follow my rules." That happened about 2 days ago. So our family was going grocery shopping when Madeleine said, "I'm hungry, I need food." I decided to be extremely cheeky and said, "Hi, hungry, I'm not your dad." My son just started to laugh uncontrollably. My daughter was just quiet with embarrassment, and my wife was just berating me not to stoop down to her level. I honestly thought it was just a funny dad joke, and my sons agree. So am I the a-hole? For your information, I did adopt her, so legally I am her parent. And after that, I go to my daughter's room after dinner and begin talking to her. And like, "Hey, I'm really sorry that I hurt by the words I said. I am really your dad. I changed your diapers, I met your boyfriends, and I plan on helping you out through college. And plus, I'm legally your dad, so we're stuck together. But seriously, I'm going to love you like my daughter, even if you don't think I'm your dad." Then I hugged her. She did start to cry. I assume that's good. Well, this is kind of controversial because on Reddit, people believe that everyone sucks in the story. But I think that this is just a well-thought dad joke, but with wrong audience. The daughter was like 15 at the point. Then again, he obviously didn't mean any of it and apologized to her after that. On to the third story shared by /Thunderbear998. Am I the a-hole for telling my extended family how many men, roughly, my sister has slept with after she outed our youngest brother as a virgin? We had a family dinner this evening. My family has 4 kids in total. Me, my elder sister, 29 years old female, my youngest sister, 24 years old female, and youngest brother, 22 males. Extended family attended to our family dinner, so all of our significant others, our cousins, aunts, uncles, etc. During the dinner, my elder sister and youngest brother got into a mild disagreement. My sister seemed, at least to me, to be coming across as very aggressive out of frustration and losing said argument. The two of them were too absorbed in their argument to realize the rest of us are getting a bit fed up. Eventually, my sister got really fed up and said, "Shut up! I'm not going to argue with a 22-year-old virgin." My brother hadn't done any personal attacks up until that point. It was completely unprovoked. I think it might have been the alcohol, as my sister is a mean drunk. Anyway, I immediately told my sister to grow up and that she was making an embarrassment of herself. She replied by saying everyone knows she's a virgin and she didn't say anything wrong. This annoyed me, as my bro definitely has some confidence issues and doesn't need to be made fun of like this. So I responded by saying how she slept with well over 100 men while she was in college, and that since everyone in the family knows, this is not a big deal, right? Turns out her husband didn't know this amazingly. I genuinely assumed that he must have known. He left the party angrily, saying my sister misled him about her past. Family is blaming me for their marital problems. I refuse to accept I did anything wrong. My sister bullied my brother in front of everyone. All I did was to give her a taste of her own medicine. Well, this is a tough case. I guess everyone sucks because one person making personal attacks doesn't mean someone else should, especially since OP weren't even in the argument to begin with. On to the fourth story shared by rslash, frustrating Baconet 8. Would I be the a-hole for refusing to stop cooking bacon in my kitchen due to my teenage daughter's vegan lifestyle? Dad here, old fart, love his daughter to pieces, but I'm struggling to see eye to eye with my daughter and wife on this one. We've always been a meat-eating family. We live in a rural Midwest, and bacon for breakfast is a pretty much given. This year, my 14-year-old daughter decided to go vegan, and I jumped onto her support team with enthusiasm. We learned how to substitute ingredients to cook new things, try new things. I adjusted our budget to include more expensive vegan substitutes for her, etc. None of this has been a problem for me until recently. She saw me cook bacon in a pan and then rinse it out to load in the dishwasher. She exploded in anger. Teen years, I'm not too fussed about the anger explosions. I know she doesn't mean it, and said, "That was her pan for vegan food." I was completely floored and said, "Kiddo, this here is a family pan. It's older than you. It's not your pan." She asked me to purchase her a pan that can solely use for vegan food. I didn't want her to feel weird about food, so I said sure, and ordered a few colored ones that are only for her. The reason why they are colored is so that it helps me to remember that I'm not to touch them unless I'm cooking vegan. That wasn't good enough. Now apparently the dishwasher is contaminated with animal products and the fridge has bacon grease fingers on it because I eat bacon and then touch the fridge, and she asked me and her mom to completely stop eating meat at home. I don't mean I literally touch the fridge with greasy bacon hands because I wash my hands, but it's clearly enough that it upsets my daughter. Frankly, I'm on the team hell no! Her mom is much more amendable and strongly wants me to consider taking our daughter up on the request. My daughter's wife's reasoning is that both our parents live close so we can eat meat products there, and that she doesn't want our daughter to feel uncomfortable in the kitchen. My daughter says she's fine with cheese and butter in the fridge, but it's specifically meat products that make her feel sick. Now I'm sorry for her, but I feel she just needs to adapt and live side by side because I'm not going to stop eating bacon in my own house. From the perspective of a young person like myself, I think the teen in the story is acting quite ridiculous and out of line. I mean, really? The dishwashing machine is tainted? What kind of BS is that? And you know you should never force somebody you love to do things they don't want to. On to the fifth story shared by rslash AmITheA Bikini. Am I the a-hole for wearing the joke bikini my friend got me? So it was my birthday a couple months ago. Had a party, got some gifts. My friend Mandy for me a super cute bikini. I liked it, said thanks. She had ripped the tags off, but whatever. Anyway, went to the community pool with my roommate. Wore bikini, got into the water. Roommate immediately is like, girl, I look and see that bikini is kinda see-through. Haha, good joke, Mandy. Anyway, Mandy invited me to her place to hang out with her and her boyfriend and a few others. Most leave and we're still hanging out. I'm like, hey, what if we get into your hot tub? I go and change after them. And meet her boyfriend in the hot tub. She's getting new drinks. I hop in. Immediately, he's looking at my chest. I pretend I don't notice and just make small talk. She comes out a few minutes later and just looks in shock, eventually gets in. Is that the one I bought? Yeah, I love it. I wear it everywhere. Make up some stuff about how I wear it to the beach, some party with lots of guys, etc. And she's just like, oh. We're in the tub for like 20 to 30 minutes and eventually get out and change. She approached me after this and was like, I'm sorry I thought you'd notice, but it goes kinda see-through. I'm like, yeah, I know why you'd buy me a ducking see-through bathing suit. She's like, it's a joke, but wait, you knew? So you just spent the last 30 minutes flashing my boyfriend on purpose? I reply, I'm just wearing my birthday gift from her. Anyway, am I the a-hole? Not a butthole for sure, OP just played it out splendidly. Plays stupid games, wins stupid prizes, and it's not her fault if the boyfriend just blatantly staring at her chest. If he was honest and faithful, he would have looked away or something. On to the 6th story shared by wslash inappropriate dress 77. Am I the a-hole for telling my son he deserved his girlfriend breaking up with him? So my son had a long-distance girlfriend recently for about 2 years. She was great, a really nice girl, and we all loved her, welcomed her with open arms. She was flying here constantly to visit him, like weekend, a month, and he didn't lift a finger to go visit her. I tried talking to him about it several times, and told him he really should start looking into flying over to her instead of expecting her to do all the traveling all the time. He said no. And my wife probably had something to do with it, as she constantly told him she was afraid of him flying. I spoke to them both and said this girl is great for him. She was willing to move over to our country too, but said there was one condition, and that he'd have to fly over to her country too. Which is fair enough. He said no, he didn't want to fly or travel anywhere. My son was becoming lazier and lazier, eventually telling his girlfriend and us that he was perfectly fine never traveling anywhere, including holidays, etc. Last week, he told us she dumped him. I went on her Facebook page, as we are all still friends. She wrote us an apology letter about she's upset it didn't work out, but these things happen, so we're on good terms. And looks like she's with a new guy already. Me and my wife have no doubt that she was seeing him while is still in a relationship with my son. I confessed to them both that I actually agree with her decision, and he should have expected it. He did not treat her properly, and I hope he learns a lesson for the next one because he needs to make more of an effort. I said he deserved it for his lack of effort in the relationship and for essentially just allowing this girl to spend all her money and time coming here all the time. Wife and son are very upset that I said this. Very, very upset, and my wife says I'm being horrible. Am I the a-hole? I stand by what I said. For your information, my son is 24 years old. Oh no, OP is definitely not a butthole. It's the truth that he needed to hear. He's 24 years old, he can take it. The wife's reaction though seems to be enabling the son's laziness. On to the final story shared by wslash renegades rule 33. Am I the a-hole for despising my mentally handicapped sister? The title makes me sound horrible, but hear me out. My sister is severely autistic. She requires attentions almost 24/7 and cannot be left alone. She's nonverbal and cannot take care of herself, like at all. Despite the fact that she's only 12, she's extremely destructive and violent and destroys anything she gets her hands on. I hate her. That should be the wrong thing to say, but it doesn't feel like it. I was only 6 years old when she was born, and since then, I've never solely had my parents' attention. Even since, I can remember the world has revolved around her. I was moved out of my room into the basement at 7 because she needed to be in the room next to my parents. All of my toys as a child were destroyed by her, and my parents simply ignored me when I complained. Even when I was 14, she destroyed a Mac my school gave me. I was in the wrong. Along with this, I'm expected to take care of her and drop everything I do for her. I can never make plans with my friends because my parents expect me to be there if they need me to take care of her. Even when I do somehow get time to myself, I'm required to leave if they need me. If I do not, then I'm punished. The recent example of this is when I went to see a new Spider-Man movie and was grounded because I turned my phone off in the theater. It seems that I'm nothing more than a slave to them, and anything involving her simply overshadows me. This last week, I was chosen to give a speech at a school event. I was so excited, and my parents promised to be there, but they never showed, and claimed it was because of their sister. Anytime anything like this happens for me, they are too busy with her. I've held this in for so long, and it finally spilled out today. While talking about colleges with my father, he joked that I should get a degree that pays well so when they're gone, I can take care of my sister. I don't know why, but this caused me to break down. I cried and screamed about how it's always about her. I'm nothing more than a caretaker to them, and that always make it about her, and that I'm always expected to be her slave for the rest of my life. I've locked myself in the room since, and then my parents have not come to check on me. Am I the a-hole here? After thinking about it for these past hours, you're right that I don't despise my sister. It's not her fault that she was born the way she is. My parents come to talk to me a while after my breakdown, but I was unable to bring myself to talk to them and only cried and asked them to leave. They've made arrangement with my grandfather for me to stay with him for the time being, and I'm getting ready to go to his house. My parents want to talk to me, but we decided it's best if I leave for now to have some space and time to collect myself. We'll be sitting down and talking later this week about this issue. This case is probably the toughest one so far to judge, but I think OP is not a butthole. These are perfectly legitimate and understandable feelings. He didn't sign up for taking care of another human being. He can't find affection or love inside a house, but he can't find it outside either. He can't even find a coping mechanism for that. He isn't allowed to hang out with his friends freely. He can't go to the movies. Nobody is there during the big moments of his life. That's it for today, fellow humans. Thanks for watching. Dank Doggo appreciates your time. If you enjoy our content and want to see more of us, stay tuned and subscribe. Don't forget to smash that like button and ring the bell, or Doggo will cry. Also, you can always tell us your friendly neighbor Doggo, your experiences in the comment section. I'll catch up with you guys later in the next video.